So if you're trying to walk the line of being appreciative and being personal without being annoying, handwritten notes are really the way to do that. When polled, consumers said 70% of consumers said they had received an email from a brand in the last 3 months. I find this hard to believe. I think 100% of people have received an email from a brand.
Oh yeah, unless you haven't signed up for anything at all.
Yeah, 70% seems incredibly low to me.
Yes.
But only about 1 in 10 consumers have received a handwritten note. So really, there's a lot of fresh powder here for using it as a channel. That channel is not nearly as exhausted.
Because the management and transparency is what's very important. So once you submit a referral, you're going to have your own Home Advantage account, and it's going to tell you where everything sits. So if you have 10 referrals that you've sent into the network, it's going to give you all 10 referrals. It's going to tell you every milestone that that client is sitting in, whether they're touring homes, whether they're in escrow. And you now can manage through the Home Advantage application as far as what your pipeline looks like for the referrals that you've sent. And so it's pretty sophisticated, and it's all click of a button, guys.
We are live. I am Nick Baldwin, co-founder of LabCoatAgents. Thank you for those watching on Zoom and for those watching on Facebook as well. It's a pleasure to have you. Today we're with David Wachs, the CEO and co-founder of Handwrytten. Handwrytten is technology that uses robots like the ones you see behind David to put pen to paper and write handwritten notes for you one at a time or in massive amounts to save you time and energy. So thanks for being here. Today, we're going to talk about a survey. It was like a customer service survey, David.
Yeah, we surveyed 2,000 consumers, not related to handwritten. It is a statistically accurate survey, which is, I know everybody loves statistics, but there are some good outcomes from this. And yeah, I'm happy to talk about it now.
Yeah, let's talk about what that survey looked like. And then afterwards, we're going to just show you some cool stuff that Handwrytten does so you can get a little bit of a sense of the things that you can do. So why don't you show us your screen and this survey that I think will help agents understand the customer a lot better.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nick, for having me. For those that haven't tuned in the past to any of my other recordings or webinars, I'm David Wachs, founder and CEO of Handwrytten. We are the oldest and biggest, and I would like to say best, although that's up to you, provider of handwritten notes in the world. We've got 175 robots. Some of those are shown behind me. We write out handwritten notes for real estate, certainly, but also major luxury brands, car dealerships, celebrities. We allow you to duplicate your handwriting style, and then we can write in your handwriting and with your signature. And in fact, if you sign up to Handwrytten through the LabCoat link that is in this webinar and provided, you can get a free signature if you subscribe. You don't have to subscribe to use our service. You can just go online and type in a note and send it or whatever. But if you want to subscribe, which is a cost savings measure, you can get a free signature, which is a $250 value.
So that'll basically take your actual signature and use it when you create a card on the website.
Yep. And I will tell you, it looks totally real. I see notes with people's signatures or in people's.
Well, it is real.
Yeah, you can't tell the difference. And
I just want to say the difference, because a lot of people go, oh, well, I use send out cards. Send out cards is printed with like, a glossy color printer type, technology. Again, nothing wrong with that if you like that.
Yeah.
This it writes for you, actual pen to paper.
Yeah, and we have a lot of people that say, wow, I was really surprised, your notes passed the smudge test. Well, of course they do. It's written in real pen, and they also do indent in the page. I can't guarantee every letter is indented because nobody sits there and pounds
And
their
every,
pen.
and the cards are different.
Yeah.
Like card stock.
But for the most part, it does make indentations. It follows the grain of the paper. So it looks way more realistic, I think, than a solution such as send out cards. Up until, and I can't vouch for it now, but up until like maybe a year ago when I got my last send out card, I noticed on the back of the card, it was like a receipt. It said who it's going from, who it's to, if included a gift card. We don't do that. All our cards are either custom to you, and you can go on our website and design your own card, or they have the Red Wagon brand. And Red Wagon was chosen as the, like, instead of Hallmark on the bottom, it was chosen just to be a generic brand so nobody would, know where
Cool. Yeah, I like it.
you're doing it.
So let's talk about this consumer survey.
Yeah, so we used a company called Pollfish and then a statistics company to analyze the Pollfish results. Pollfish, I'm not 100% sure where people are doing this survey. I believe it was on iPhone and Android apps. There'd be like an ad that would pop up on certain web pages or apps, games, that type of thing. And then they would have to answer survey questions, and there would be some incentive through the game they were playing or something to do that. But we got 2,000 people to do that. They were not handwritten users. It was a diverse base across gender, age, and socioeconomic factors. So men, women, old, young, and then of all socioeconomic groups. So we really wanted to get a good grasp of the US and Canadian population overall and not bias it in any way. Does that make sense? Yep.
Yeah.
What we did first was we asked consumers what communication channels they use. And this should be no surprise, but most consumers prefer connecting to their friends and family via text messages and phone calls. Only 1 in 5 use handwritten communication, but what's interesting is handwritten notes skew to the more affluent demographic. 28% of higher income households send handwritten notes compared to only 16% of regular lower income households. So people don't do it very often, which, I would infer as when you get one, it's a surprise. And we will get into that next. And by the way, I'm kind of going to breeze through this to leave time at the end.
Yeah, no problem.
Demos and all that. So handwritten cards are considered personal, and they run a low risk of being considered annoying. So if you see on this chart here, handwritten notes, highly personal, or surprising, and very low chance of being annoying. Phone calls, almost as surprising, but a very high chance of being annoying. Why is this? Well, phone calls are typically on your timetable, not the recipient's, right? So you place phone calls when you've got downtime, not when the recipient or the other end has downtime. So for them, it can often be off-putting, but it's still a very powerful, surprising form of communication. 1 in 3 consumers say they would be most surprised to receive a handwritten note, and only 6% of consumers consider them annoying.
That's interesting.
If we look at meaningful and personal, the most meaningful and most personal is phone calls.
That's interesting too.
Yeah, but they run the risk of being annoying. The second most meaningful and personal form of communication, 1 in 3 consumers find handwritten notes to be the most meaningful, and 1 in 5 find it to be the most personal. So it runs a second place, but again, very low risk of being considered annoying. So if you're trying to walk the line of being appreciative and being personal without being annoying, handwritten notes are really the way to do that.
That's interesting.
When polled, 70% of consumers said they had received an email from a brand in the last 3 months. I find this hard to believe. I think 100% of people have received an email from a brand.
Oh yeah, unless you haven't signed up for anything at all.
Yeah, 70% seems incredibly low to me.
Yes.
But only about 1 in 10 consumers have received a handwritten note. So really, there's a lot of fresh powder here for using it as a channel that channel is not nearly as exhausted. Just to provide some context on me, I mentioned this on prior webinars. I came from the text messaging space. In my prior company, I sent out, we were the first company to do text for info on real estate. And then we morphed into just a general purpose text messaging platform for Abercrombie and Fitch and Toys R Us and all these big brands. But the reason I got into handwritten notes is because I saw everybody's getting emails and everybody's getting texts all the time. And I thought, gee, wouldn't it be cool to stand out from the noise and do something more analog? And that's why I got into this. So this kind of just reflects my reasons for getting into sending handwritten notes. Only this is where I think it gets really interesting. The problem, especially for offline shoppers, so people buying homes, people walking into a store, they never or rarely feel appreciated for their purchase. Digital sellers do a better job than offline sellers, but still only 1 in 5 consumers feels appreciated for being a client. Okay, but what does this mean to feel appreciated? Well, if you feel appreciated, you will purchase more frequently from the company, you will spend more per purchase, you will write an online review about your experience, you will tell your friends and family about your experience. So half of consumers claim they would spend more per purchase with brands that make them feel appreciated, and 60% say they would buy more from these brands. More than half say they would share their positive experience with friends and family, and customer appreciation is more important for premium shoppers. 70% of premium shoppers, high-end home buyers, say they purchase more frequently from brands or agents, you could extrapolate, that make them feel appreciated. When consumers were asked them, what makes them feel appreciated? So now let's go, okay, people that feel appreciated buy. What makes them feel appreciated? Receiving a handwritten note for the purchase, 45%. So 45% of consumers prefer it over traditional communication. It is the most preferred way of being told thank you for a purchase.
That's awesome. And most people aren't doing it.
No, most people aren't doing it. Again, 1 out of 10, 1 out of, whatever,
Yeah.
less than eight, whatever that is, 1 out of 8, I guess, is doing it. I'm almost done here.
No worries.
With the
This is
stats.
interesting.
And by the way, I have a version of this deck. I didn't want to talk to slides that had a bunch of text on them, because then it's like you're just reading what's on the slide. If anybody would like a copy of this deck with the text in it, the color commentary in it, I'm happy to send it. And then actually on our website, if you go to resources, handwrytten.com, handwritten with a Y.com, the resources tab, there's a link at the bottom to the consumer outreach survey, which has a 10-page document or something.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
With all these stats. We're really trying to be the source of knowledge in this space.
Yeah.
So, and this title got kind of squirrely here, but handwritten envelopes have a higher open rate. So this is kind of interesting. What we did was we, in the survey, there's actually a picture of a printed envelope and a handwritten envelope. And we said, would you open this envelope or wouldn't you? The printed envelope would get open 32% of the time. The handwritten envelope, 39%, which is, according to my statisticians, statistically significant. But what I've heard is handwritten envelopes have a 300% greater open rate than printed. So there is a discrepancy in what this survey shows and what we've heard from the media, but it is what it is. And then also there's statistical significance in reading the note, 38% versus 31%. So consumers are significantly more likely to open an envelope and carefully read the message compared to a printed one. And if you're looking to improve the strength of your mailing campaign, handwritten notes and envelopes are a great way to do that. I think this is my last slide. Again, the titles got messed up here, sorry. We showed participants 2 cards, a printed one and a handwritten one. across the board, consumers who receive a handwritten card are more likely to feel appreciated to consumers that receive a printed one. They're saying that this brand knows me better. I will make another purchase from this brand. I'd like to receive cards, letters like this more. This brand appreciates me, and I will save this card and not throw it away. That's a 50 equal across the two. So if you can get in that camp, great.
This is awesome stuff.
So here's the summary of all this, which is just a regurgitation, but I'll share it with you. Most people no longer write letters or notes in everyday life. Handwritten messages are considered the most surprising and the least annoying if you do receive one from a brand. 1 in 3 consumers consider handwritten messages the most meaningful. Phone calls are more meaningful and personal, but there's that high risk that they'll be considered annoying. Consumers rarely feel appreciated for being a client. Making a consumer feel appreciated has a substantial positive impact. And the best way to make a consumer feel appreciated or a buyer feel appreciated is to send them a handwritten note. So that's really the outcome from, and again, I sent this to this Polefish company, and then I sent it to, and obviously these were the bits and pieces I wanted to pull out, and there were a lot more questions, but from those bits and pieces, they were able to say statistically, in a meaningful and statistically significant way, handwritten notes are the most powerful form to reach out to your sales targets.
Love it.
So just about me, and then I can get into a demo. We started in 2014. We have 175 robots. We build them. We are now leasing them. We have them in Australia, Pittsburgh and Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, some on the west side of Phoenix, and in Scottsdale. We're expanding that. But for most use cases, including realtors, I would not recommend putting the robots in your facility. Let us do it, because we have 175 of them to get your notes out fast. You'd have 2 or 4, and you wouldn't be able to get those notes out in any meaningful time. And then also, what chance of you actually doing it? You'll get the robot, it'll sit there, but it's one more thing for you to do.
It's much more cost effective and time effective to do it through this.
Yeah. We help you with the whole process. We help you plan. We help you with the tools. We integrate with your CRM system. We obviously fulfill the notes, and we provide support. Here's a picture of one of our older robots. Couple things we do is we vary the line spacing, so no 2 lines are exactly the same apart. We vary the left margin, so it doesn't look like you're writing down a hard edge. And now, as of 4 months ago or so, we warped the text, maybe 5 months. We warped the text ever so slightly, so it doesn't look like the writing is on a straight line. Every line, it looks like you're trying very hard to write on a straight line, but you kind of get off kilter a little bit. We actually use AI to do that.
What I would suggest is, if you're thinking of using handwritten for anything, clients, farming, I would go on to the website, handwrytten.com, handwritten with a Y, and send yourself a letter. Send yourself a note.
And if you sign up through the LabCoatAgents link, you get I believe 5 free cards, something like that. Just for
5 free
up.
cards, and then you get the signature for free as well.
Yeah, the signature, you have to do something for. You have to subscribe. Subscriptions are great if you plan on sending. I believe the small subscription is good for 25 cards, maybe less, but it's less than $100 a month. It's like $99 a month. If you don't use the credits, your credits are at a discounted rate, so you're saving money. If you go over that number of cards, you still get the benefits. You've locked in savings. And then if you don't use the credits, they just roll over. So you could just burn them all at Christmas if you like.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
So you're never out. Our goal is not to rip you off. Our goal is to provide a valuable service. So that's just one way we offer it. We have hundreds of cards. We're always adding more. You can design your own, add a logo or a photo of the house you're trying to sell. You can use bulk to send them in bulk. So you can upload a spreadsheet and send them that way. We have this cool prospecting tool that I'm going to try to demo for you in a minute, where you can draw on a map, and we actually pull data in from a third-party data source. So you don't even have to have contacts. We'll provide those to you for no charge. The most asked about feature is birthday automation and home anniversary automation. So with this, you upload a list of your clients, their birthdays, you select the card you want to send them, you write a templated message, and we take care of it. Set it and forget it. 2 weeks before their birthday, those notes go out. You could even include a gift card or a small insert in that, such as seed packets, instant coffee. I know Keller Williams is big on golden ratio coffee. We provide that. So we have all that available. And then now a lot of people don't know what to write in their notes. So we use AI, ChatGPT technology. You could just say, write a thank you note to Nick for providing his great webinar. And then it will write a whole message for you, put that in the composition box. You can edit it and then continue the process. And we can show you that too.
Let's
demo
show
it.
everyone how to, I want to show everyone how the farming feature works, because I think for real estate prospecting, that's going to be the most interesting and highly used.
Yeah, so I am on screen 2 here, so pardon my side profile, but if you can you still see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, great. So the way this works is you simply go into handwrytten.com. You can do that by signing in after you sign up. So, and please let me know if you can't see this here. And then once you're in, you can send a card just by, well, you can first design a card by clicking customizable cards, take a full bleed flat card. We're adding customizable folded cards soon. If you want a folded card, just reach out to us and we'll do it manually for you. But the online composer currently we don't have. So then you would just add an image to the card like I did here, type in a header. If you want, or you can upload a logo, pick your font and all that good stuff and save. Okay, it's just taking a second to save that beautiful card. When it does this, it's saving a very high res version. So now that we created that card, you can go to your My Custom Card category and see it. So there it is, Nick Baldwin Realty. And we could just send it here. But what we're going to do is we're going to click my name or your name in the upper right. And there's a campaign manager tool. And this is where all the really cool stuff happens. So we have a prospecting feature, which I'm going to show you, the birthdays, and then a multi-step campaign feature. The reason we say coming soon is we are making a promise to you that it's going to come out. By putting it on the website, it's going to come out. And we're actively working on it. We hope to have it done in the next few weeks. And what that'll let you do is set up drip campaigns with handwritten notes. But let's talk about outbound prospecting. Now, I'm going to put in my office address here. And there I am. And then I can say a radius of, a mile. Or what I can do is I can just do a polygon. Put that over my office. And every time I add a point, do something crazy like that. So in this area, I want homeowners. I want the household income above 100 grand. And I want at least 2 children in the household for whatever reason. Don't ask why. Okay. And then I'm going to hit calculate targets. Now there's 176 homes in this area where it's a homeowner, 2 children in the household. I'm going to choose, I think I can use my arrow key. Yeah, I'm going to choose 100 of them. Now this feature here is kind of cool. Suppress prior prospecting targets. Let's say every month I want to put this on the map and do it again, but pick a different 100 people. What you could do is hit suppress prior prospecting, and we're going to know who you hit last time, and we're not going to include them next time. So you can run this over and over again, especially if you do like a 1 mile radius from your office, just hit it over and over. And this could be, hey, I just sold a home in this neighborhood. I want to introduce myself. Or, hey, I just moved into this neighborhood. I want to introduce myself. Or I just moved into an office in this neighborhood. So we're going to choose that. I'm going to hit continue. I'm going to choose the card I just made. And then I'm going to type a prospecting message. And instead of typing it, I'll use the ChatGPT, right? Real estate prospecting. No, introducing myself as a realtor who moved into the area and wants to list your home. Generate a message. I'm gonna keep it short. Okay, it's a little long, but we can edit it. I'm name who recently moved into the area.
That's a long one.
Yeah, it's long.
Yeah,
It's
but it just shows you what AI can do, and you can edit
Yeah.
it down and you can change it.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you don't know what to say, using the AI tool can be helpful.
Yeah, so if you're interested, this is still a little.
It's wordy.
Yeah, it's wordy, too much.
Or you might want to say
like,
I just sold a home in, your neighbor's home or something like that. Put a picture of the home that you sold, on the card or whatever it is.
yeah.
How much it sold for, that type of thing.
So then I'm going to add my signature here. And I know it says feel free to contact me at, but you get the idea. You'd fill it in. And then I'm going to hit continue. I'm then going to insert my business card. It says $1, but they're only 25 cents. This is a bad demo account. If you want to send us your business cards, it's 25 cents. And then we will mail them normally. Or if you don't want us to mail them because you're hell-bent on your postmark, we can address, seal, and stamp them and send them back to you in a UPS box.
And then you just dump them in the mail.
You dump them in the mail fully ready to go. Honestly, most people don't notice the postmark. Right now, we're debating offering the option of pre-canceled stamps, which is a first-class postage, but it has 0 postmark on it. So I can mail it from here, or you can mail it from wherever. There's no postmark. Personally, I think that's weirder than having a postmark in the wrong area, but I'd love to hear from you guys. If anybody in the webinar or video recording of this webinar would like that option, please reach out. We are investigating it. I'm not too hot on it, but it is an option. And then you would just hit continue. And when you do this, it tells you how much you're paying. Again, if you have a subscription, it's a discounted rate. There's no denying handwritten notes are more expensive than print campaigns. It just is. The very first thing we do is print. That's the first step in a 5-step process. Whether it's writing on it, QA, stamping, stuffing, there's a lot more that goes into it than a print campaign. Plus the postage we add is not metered mail, bulk mail postage. You're putting a full 63-cent stamp on there. So it is an expensive thing, but it generates returns.
Yeah, well, this is, you guys saw the survey, so why would, it's worth the investment. Don't ignore the survey and then send a postcard that people find annoying.
Right.
Pay attention to the survey and send a handwritten card that they find personal.
100%. So what it's doing now is it's doing an initial pull of the data from our database. And in a second, it'll show you, if it loads here, it should show you the checkout screen and give you one address. So the reason it gives you one address is you haven't made the purchase yet. We're reliant on a third-party data source, so it takes a second here. So I have a bunch of cards in my cart. So here we are, and here's the first address, Alfreda, and I see it's an 85284, which is the correct zip code. That's the zip code of my office. So I know that's correct. Now it says 1 of 100. you can't see the recipients until you buy it, because we as a company pay for every data point. You don't pay, but we pay, and we don't want you using us to just steal data from us. I know you're not going to do it, but we have to prepare for that. So in order to get access to the data, you have to buy it. And then once you buy it, you'll see it in your address book as orders that you've placed. So then you just go down here and place order. My account's in test mode, which means I've been just fiddling with it, so I can't place the order. But if I took the account out of test mode, I could, and that's kind of how this
It's awesome. It's definitely a different way. You know, it's a different way to prospect. You know, as opposed to your boring old, you know, postcards or whatever it is. This is more personal. It looks like you actually wrote it yourself, and people are gonna react to it in a much more positive way. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
awesome.
we
Awesome.
have solar panel installers that every time they install solar panels in a community, they take a photo of the house, they 3D render the solar panels on it, and then they send a note to everybody in the community, letting them know, sorry for any inconvenience if you see our trucks going up and down the street or installing solar panels. This client, you know, is going to save a ton of money, this many, you know, dollars a month, whatever. And they just use that as their prospecting with every single home they install.
Cool.
They do that. The other feature is birthday cards. We did a webinar on this. If you want, I could run you through it, but it's very, very similar to prospecting. You just go here, you select your recipients and when their birthdays are. So I have a bunch of fake data with people that are, I guess, born less than a year ago, but I would select those, add them to a birthday card campaign, and then every year they'd get that campaign. If you don't want to go through the steps of checking off everybody, what you would do is turn this on to a default automation. And when you do that, everybody with a birthday in the system would get that note moving forward, as long as they're
That's
not part
pretty
of
awesome.
another.
So you don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do anything.
Awesome. Well, this is awesome. Thanks, David.
My
We're just
pleasure.
out of time. Appreciate it. If you are interested in signing up for Handwritten, go to handwrytten.com/LabCoatAgents and check out
Correct.
the deal. 5 free cards and a free signature when you sign up for one of the subscriptions. So handwrytten.com/LabCoatAgents. It's in the comments on Facebook. It's in the chat on Zoom, and go check it out. Tristan and I use it all the time. We love it. And you know that we don't promote things that we don't use and love. So check out Handwritten. It's a great product. And if you paid attention to that survey, other people are going to think it's great too.
Yeah, and if anybody wants the survey results, you can go on our website to resources and then just consumer outreach report.
Cool.
That'll give you the full thing, or just email me and I'll send you the PowerPoint crib note.
All right, David. Thanks a lot, buddy. Hey, thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you later.
Right on, guys. Thanks.